I first heard of the pirate known as Charles Vane from the game Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is very good, by the way. I would recommend you try it. This video isn't sponsored or anything. I very much enjoyed it. Very good for people who like pirate stuff. So, yeah. I found the character to be very interesting. Years later, now, I've taken it upon myself to find out about the real man. Like most pirates, not much is known about Vane's early life, other than that he was probably born in England, but even that's up for debate, as he attacked English and French ships a lot. So some people think he sailed for a Spanish flag at some point, but we don't really know. Nobody knows that, so, you know. We pick up his life in 1716 when he joined the crew of Henry Jennings, another famous pirate there, one of the founders of Nassau, which was, the pirate republic, which was a very interesting topic in itself. It was actually one of the most democratic places in its time, which is very interesting, but I digress. So by February of 1718, just 2 years later, King George I offered a pardon, King's Pardon. You may have heard of that. It's where every pirate who turned themselves in and turned their booty. I don't know why. That word messed me up. They turned their booty in. Okay, they turned their booty in, they would be pardoned. And many pirates did take the pardon, such as Vane's mentor, Henry Jennings. Vane, though, was a different kind of man. He took the pardon, and a few weeks later, rounded up what was left of Jennings' crew and went right back to pirating. So, his legend began growing as that of a madman to be feared. Testimonies of sailors that run into him and survived told of beatings and torture done by him and his crew. One man, it was said, was apparently tied to the bowsprit. I think I'm saying that right. For people who don't know boats, that's the long stick that was like on the end of the bow. So the bowsprit. They tied him to that and burned him with matches until he told where the treasure on the ship was. Ugh, doesn't sound fun. So yeah, legend started growing. He was a man to be feared.
Rigging jackanapes, you owe me a share! Oh, damn it, Vane!
Vane began capturing a small fleet of ships, and he sailed them into Nassau and basically took it over. He became the de facto leader because the previous leaders had left in order to take the king's pardon. But England didn't like that very much. So they assigned a man called Woodes Rogers, who was an ex-privateer, to come in and be the governor of Nassau. Just get rid of the pirate element there. And he largely succeeded. He brought in a fleet of the Royal Navy to the harbor of Nassau. Vane responded by sending shots at the Royal Navy from a little fort in the harbor. And that night, knowing that he was outgunned and would eventually be captured, and that his flagship was too big to get out of the harbor, he set it on fire and sent it towards the Royal Navy as he escaped on a smaller sloop. And he did get away.
Burn, you bastards!
After this, Vane's glory days were over. He continued to plunder ships, but he longed for the old days of the pirate republic. he ended up meeting with the semi-retired Blackbeard at the time, and they partied for a week, but Blackbeard wasn't interested in joining Vane in pirating, so Vane left, and tensions in his crew were rising as rumors were going around that he wasn't giving enough of the booty away. He was keeping some for himself. And in pirate times, you can probably guess that was a big no-no. So, after he shied away from attacking a very well-armed Spanish frigate, his second-hand man, Calico Jack, led a mutiny and succeeded. So Vane and a group of men loyal to him were sent out on a sloop and left behind. Vane and his men were later caught in a hurricane. Most of the men with him drowned, and the rest were marooned on an island. A ship passed by and happened to notice the empty island was inhabited by pirates. And he stopped to see, and he noticed Vane and recognized him, as Vane had attacked his ship at an earlier point. So he decided to leave him there. Later, Charles Vane flagged down another ship, and this time they took him on board. But to his dismay, the same captain was aboard, and they took him to Port Royal, on which he was tried and hanged in the year 1721. His body was then put in a cage to rot on the islet of Gun Cay, left there to be a reminder of what happened to pirates.
I need a drink.
Hello there, and thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. Apologies if it was a little bit clunky. This is my first time doing anything of this sort, so I guess that's to be expected, but I like to do things perfectly. Yeah, so if anybody has feedback, feel free to provide it. I would love to hear it and know how to improve. So yeah, have a good rest of your day, folks.